There's a new game launching today, goes by the name Crucible, and I believe this is actually the first major title from Amazon Game Studios, the developer who's also working on the upcoming New World, which is, despite my better judgment, still something I'm looking forward to, I think. But yeah, we've got Crucible, a brand new game that is a team-based third-person hero shooter. The game launches with 3 different modes, offering a mix of objective-based team fights that combine PvE and PvP elements with a touch of battle royale. There are 10 heroes to choose from called hunters that fill a variety of playstyles and roles, and similar to MOBAs, can be leveled up mid-match, unlocking more skills and getting stronger. So yeah, it's a hero shooter that for a lot of people kind of came out of nowhere, although we did first learn about this game several years ago when Amazon Game Studios was revealed, but since then it's been pretty quiet. And then just a couple of weeks ago they released the first official Crucible announcement trailer, and it launches today. So what is it? I want to cover everything we know about Crucible and kind of give you some of my initial impressions on what I think about the game. So let's go ahead and start things off with the hunters. Again, there are 10 different hunters in the game, each with their own unique abilities, and it's pretty clear as well from the footage that they've released and the trailers that they're really trying to develop these guys as characters. Like, they want us to care about their personality, their very distinct styles, like they're all different races from different planets probably, you know. It's a hero shooter, so they're trying to develop the heroes, not surprising. Every hunter will be beginning every single match with all of their weapons and abilities, so there's no worrying about trying to unlock your skills and your weapons. However, there are these things called essence upgrades that you will select prior to each match to kind of tailor fit to your playstyle. So you can basically choose, do I want to be more focused on my utility or my damage, for example? And then as you're in the match, you will be leveling up by collecting essence, which will unlock those upgrades, as well as increases to your health and to your power. And besides picking your character, they say a lot of the game is about adapting to different dynamic situations, like completing events that pop up, gathering essence, and then of course, hunting down your opponents. So let's just go ahead and get a brief synopsis of each of the heroes, the hunters. First, there's Earl, a gunner with a load of staying power thanks to high health and self-healing. He carries a fast-firing quad cannon and a jet engine that fires him across the battlefield. There's a Jonah, a deadly raider who uses a harpoon gun and mines to harass her enemies from afar. Bug, a gardening robot who grows his seeds into lethal turrets and can also slow enemies and shield allies. Mendoza is the classic run and gun soldier and has access to healing as well as on-the-fly cover. There's Summer, a fierce competitor with the twin custom-built flamethrowers who is great at close-range combat. Shaqiri, a poised and deadly duelist who fights with her Starlock pistol sword. Tosca, a super genius with a chip on her shoulder, has a short-range teleport and an acid shotgun. Dracul is a bloodthirsty melee fighter who charges into battle with a deadly axe. There is Cezanne, a one-woman army that carries an electro knife, shotgun, and inertia gun, making her effective in all forms of combat. And then finally, we have Rahi and Brother, a human-robot duo who excel at battlefield control, close-range brawling, and shielding themselves and their allies. So those are the 10 hunters. You pick the hunter you want, decide your essence upgrade, and then you go and play the match, fighting your opponents, completing objectives, collecting essence, leveling up, and getting stronger. So what kinds of things will you be doing? Well, there are 3 game modes that the game will be launching with. First is Heart of the Hives, a 4v4 race to capture hive hearts, and hives are these giant boss creatures. So the giant bosses will spawn on the map, and both teams of 4 will have to fight each other trying to kill the hive and capture the heart that it drops, and then the first team to capture 3 hearts wins. Then there is Alpha Hunters, where 8 teams of 2 will be fighting to be the last one standing. This is kind of the battle royale mode. You level up to get stronger, and there's only 1 life per match, so if somebody dies, they're out for good. But if your teammate dies, you can actually team up with another solo player. That is until the final 3 remain, and then any of those temporary alliances will be broken up, and then again, you try to be the last one standing. And then finally, there's Harvester Command, where 2 teams of 8 try to rack up the most points by collecting essence. You'll be trying to control these harvesters to farm essence faster than the other team. The more harvesters you control, the more essence you gather, and then the first team to 100 wins. And that's basically Crucible in a nutshell. 3 game modes, which are essentially just capture, control, and battle royale, and then 10 hunters. It's a free-to-play game, and it launches on Steam today, May the 20th. And that's essentially it. For a lot of people, Crucible kind of came out of nowhere. The announcement video was published just a couple of weeks ago on May the 5th, but as I mentioned earlier, we have known about this game for a while. I remember first hearing about Crucible back in 2016 when Amazon Game Studios released this video, and how they described the game back then is quite a bit different than what we ended up getting.
Crucible is a last one standing, third-person shooter in which 12 hunters enter an alien hostile world, but only one emerges victorious. Because the world itself is dangerous, players have to work together, but unlike a lot of team games, players can actually make or break alliances on the fly, so you have to kind of watch your back. Crucible also has a new type of player, a 13th player, who can broadcast and also directly impact the game by creating events. And it's not just a one-way streak. Viewers can actually interact with the game master as well.
So yeah, they were basically describing Crucible as just a battle royale with 12 people fighting to be the last one standing, and then this 13th player who is the game master who can screw with other people. The final version is quite a bit different from what they were talking about in that first pitch. Now, it's worth noting that games changing throughout development is quite common. I've talked about that quite a lot on this channel. It happens. And frankly, I'm not sure how great a 12-person battle royale with a 13th person who can screw with those people would have done. Like, I don't know. There was a game like that I played a couple years back, and frankly, I don't think it ended up doing very well. So it's probably better than that they strayed from that initial vision. But really, that's not the strangest thing. The fact that the game changed from their initial pitch 4 years ago isn't so strange. What's the strangest is that we first heard about this game 4 years ago, and then nothing. From 2016 up until May the 5th, I never saw anything talking about this game. I didn't see it mentioned at PAX. I didn't see it mentioned at E3 back when that was still a thing. I didn't see it mentioned in any articles. Like, the Crucible essentially was never discussed for 4 years up until 2 weeks prior to launch when they released the announcement trailer. And I guess what's weird about that is I'm not sure how much confidence they have in this game, and maybe it's for a good reason. One of the funniest things I saw was the top comment of their announcement video that says, kinda reminds me of Paragon and Battleborn. You know, Paragon and Battleborn, those two games that did so poorly that both of them got shut down. Not exactly the thing that you want your game compared to. And then also, when the game was revealed a couple of weeks ago, Forbes games writer Paul Tassi posted an article that said Amazon's new game Crucible looks like Battleborn meets Evolve, which is not good news. And in the article, he basically says that the game just looks bland, uninspired, and like it's attempting to capitalize on the Overwatch craze just several years too late. You know, frankly, from everything that I've seen so far, I think the game looks perfectly competent. It's really hard to judge how it's going to do at this point. It certainly could pick up, but it could also be a total flop. I have to say though, from the early impressions I've seen so far, things don't sound great. Like, the initial trailers and coverage of the game have gotten very little traction. Frankly, I doubt this video is going to do very well. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of excitement about the game. Like, people are hearing about Crucible, and it just seems like nobody cares. With that said, it is a free-to-play game, so anyone can try it. I guess the question is there an audience for a new team-based hero shooter? There's just so much competition. There are so many great shooters out there, hero shooters, team-based shooters, a lot of free-to-play games out there. And with all of that competition and this game just kind of it looks okay. I don't think it looks bad, but it just looks okay. I don't know if it's gonna take off. I don't know if it really has a chance, but we'll find out soon. There's a chance that you'll be hearing about Crucible everywhere a couple weeks from now, or there's a chance this is the last time you ever hear about it. Best of luck, Crucible. Hope it goes well.